Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. Glad you made it here. We are going to start with the Vinyl Tag 2021, which is brought to us by Andrew. He's going to be linked in the description as well as all the questions, so you can make your own video if you fancy to. Alright, there are 20 points on my little spreadsheet here, or questions, and I'm going to show you 1, 2 albums, whatever is necessary to answer those questions. I'm trying to keep it a little bit mixed. There are a few obvious picks and a few not so obvious picks. Okay, let's start with the first thing. A Discovery in 2020. Alright, there are a few bands that I really gotten into in this time. One of them is Sons of Hans with the album While Sleeping, Stay Awake. This is a definitely harder hitting hard rock, stoner metal, I don't know. Those genres are really fusing into each other, so it's kind of hard to tell which it now really is, but I really enjoyed the record, and I just bought it because I saw it and I thought, like, well, this looks like something my girlfriend could like. Good album. If you haven't listened to it, give it a spin. It's really good, and I have never ever heard of it before. Next assumption, A Quarantine By. Okay, now you're gonna see my absolute favorite band of all time, which is Pink Floyd, and this is an original copy of Atom Heart Mother. Atom Heart Mother is one of the, I think, more underrated Pink Floyd albums, I suppose. And I wanted to have an original copy all the time. I've got like plenty of Pink Floyd records, 15 or something. And this was missing. So I searched for it quite a while, like a few record stores, and there were re-releases and stuff like that. But I wanted to have an original copy because it's my favorite band. And that's what I'm holding in my hands now. Kind of good. Okay, the next. An LP you want to find in 2021, and this is actually an LP that I could have found like, or let's say two that I could have found a few times, but I want to have a really good original copy of both of them, and that's kind of hard to do. But it's At Folsom Prison from Johnny Cash and Nebraska from Bruce Springsteen, which is the easier to find, at least in Germany. I don't know why, but most of the record stores that I checked in, and this is quite a few in northern Germany, like Hamburg has quite a few, I think actually the most in Germany, I think I've read that somewhere, but I wasn't able to find them. Kind of sad. Nebraska is something that will come in regularly, but I hadn't had the chance to find At Folsom Prison, which is, in my opinion, the best thing that Johnny Cash has ever done. And I'm a huge Johnny Cash fan. A box set. Yeah, I'm going to disappoint you there. There is no box set. Not there, and not over there. I'm really sorry. I'm just not the compilation guy. I like to buy albums. Yeah, I like to buy albums to really get to know what the artist meant to say, if he meant to say anything with this album. So yeah, there are just not very many best of albums and no box set. I'm not gonna pull out some kind of double LP and tell you, yeah, this is as close as I got to a double album, because it's not close. Alright, a concept album. This is something that took me quite a while. I could have made it like anybody and just showed up, here's The Wall, I'm a Pink Floyd fan, this is a great album, which it definitely is. But I picked something newer. And this is Green Day's American Idiot. Green Day's American Idiot is, in my opinion, the album, if you are a classic rock fan and you want to get in more modern music, listen to American Idiot. It is such a good album, like undoubtedly one of the top 100 albums ever written, in my opinion. Just the way that the band managed to portray this living in the suburban areas and even the cities and streets in America as a teenager is amazing. It's just amazing. An album where an artist band changed direction. I'm gonna pull out two. They are not released after each other, but the first one is the Bee Gees' Odessa, which is, I would consider it classic rock. It's a really good album. This is not the Saturn one. Those cost about 400 euros, and no thank you. But I really enjoy this, and the next one is, you might have guessed it already, which is Saturday Night Fever, which is obviously a soundtrack and not a Bee Gees album, but you know what I'm going to talk about. They've drastically shifted, using falsetto voices and vocals, obviously, and shifting their style further into the disco direction, which is fine, but I enjoy Odessa much more. Alright. Yeah, a white labeled promo. Again, I'm empty on those. I'm really sorry. A compilation album. I've talked about that. I do own compilation albums, and I do own one compilation album where I really have a story to talk to, and this is the following. Self-Portrait by Johnny Cash, including all the great songs like A Boy Named Sue, Orange Blossom Special, Ring of Fire, Folsom Prison Blues, I Walk a Line, so on, so on. But why did I choose this one? I love Johnny Cash, and I bought this for €2 in a thrift shop, which is nothing for a double LP. And in it was something that I'm going to show you now, but I have to sign up for it. Give me a second. So I opened up the record and I found this thing, which is an original Johnny Cash autograph. And it's not printed. I've checked that. Actually, someone else checked that for me. It's actually a real signature. And this is something that the man himself, Johnny Cash, had his hands on. How great is that? Okay, an album that tells a story. Two ways to interpret that. A story from the artist or a story from me. But we already had a concept album, so I think it's a story of me. Or my family in this case. I've picked this one, Fleetwood Mac, Rumours. Great album, but we're not going to talk about the music on it. It's this little signature that is important, and that is the signature of the best friend of my dad. This album has been in the collection of my dad, and it is from his best friend Peter. And Peter passed away, I think, 6 or 7 years ago, and that really took a bit out of my dad. He really struggled, you know. He was his best friend for like 30 years, and then he left. This is the last thing that we do have, which he had his hands on, as stupid as this may sound, and he even signed it. And now I'm allowed to have it. And since the chain is the reason my dad picked up a bass guitar, is just giving the story a little bit more sadness, I think. Okay, let's cheer us up a little with an album that needs a vinyl pressing. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you an album that nobody of you is gonna have heard of, I think. But I really adore it. And that is Signs and Wonders by Animal Kingdom from 2009. This is a band that I think they aren't active anymore, but I really enjoyed the two things that they brought out. I think it's just 2 albums. Really good indie pop rock. I really enjoyed that. And I can't really understand why they haven't been more successful. But well, that's how it is. Alright, a common and an uncommon album. Okay, we're going to go back to the 60s now. And first of all, the common album, which is Disraeli Gears by Cream. And this, I'm going to pull it out once because it's a reissue, and the reissue is kind of pretty. It's on a green vinyl. I'm not the biggest fan of colored vinyl, but if I can get something, I'll take it. It's got translucent green vinyl, which is kind of pretty. Good stuff. Nearly touched the grooves. Not allowed to do that, especially not on YouTube. Yeah, this is the one that I chose for this. Everybody knows Cream, and I think this can be considered their best record. It has one of my all-time favorite songs on it, which is Tales of Brave Ulysses. And the one that is not so well known is Blind Faith's Blind Faith, including Ginger Baker and Eric Clapton, both from Cream, so I try to keep it from the same artist. They've just brought out this one album as a band, and it's amazingly good, and I've never ever heard of it. This is not the original copy. The original copy had boobies on it, so that wouldn't be the best fit for YouTube. But listen to it if you don't know it. Kind of good thing. Next. NEP. Okay. Burst into K1 by the Wonder Years. Acoustic EP. I really like the Wonder Years. I've seen them live 2 times actually, and I enjoy that. And there is a Spotify code. A girl group, yeah. There is no single record that just has girls on it, but I'm gonna make up for that. ABBA's Arrival. My girlfriend loves ABBA, my mother loves ABBA, my dad even loves ABBA as well. I enjoy them, not the biggest fan, but I accept what they've done as musicians. And Arrival is an amazingly good album. Just listen to the track list. I mean, we've got When I Kissed the Teacher, Dancing Queen, My Love, My Life, Dum Dum Diddle, Knowing Me, Knowing You, Money, 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 That's Me, Why Did It Have to Be Me, Tiger, and Arrival. Stacked of ABBA classics. An album cover that you love. I had to decide between 3 Uriah Heep albums, and I came up with Demons and Wizards by Uriah Heep. And I'm going to show it to you. Oh, this thing is really snug. I'm not going to try to put this on again. But it's really pretty, I think. You could have gone with King Crimson, every King Crimson album as well, but I'm gonna take Demons and Wizards. I really like the artwork. The album you've listened to the most in 2020. The Bosses, Darkness on the Edge of Town. In my opinion, the best album that he has ever released. It's not so cheerful as Born to Run is, which is amazing as well. I really, really love Racing in the Streets. I really love Streets on Fire, and I really love Adam Raised a Cain. In my opinion, the best Bruce Springsteen album, and the one that I go to if I want to listen to Bruce Springsteen normally. The next one, an album you had to get an original copy of. It's standing right up there. I don't know if you can see it. It is Aladdin Sane by David Bowie. Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars is an amazing album, one of the best ever made, arguably in the top 10 ever made, I think. And then you've got though this alien that has gotten to stardom on planet Earth in Britain, going to America, and there Ziggy is becoming Aladdin Sane, and this album portraits this so well, the disgusting side of stardom, which is just marvelously good. Listen to it if you haven't. Really, really great album, and in my it is my favorite David Bowie album. The last album you purchased. It isn't even sleeved. Yesterday by Yes. Bought that on eBay. I found that on eBay, and it was fairly cheap. It is Yes. Can't do anything wrong with Yes. At least not if you like prog rock. All right, an album they don't get. I thought about that for quite a while, and I'm actually going to go with an obvious, unobvious pick, which is right around here. The Beatles' Revolver. Obviously an album that most people know, but in my opinion, Revolver really, really, really deserves to be named with the big four Beatles albums. In my opinion, this really needs to be addressed in the same way that we address Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, The White Album, Let It Be, and Abbey Road. So why does not Revolver get more love? I don't know. In my opinion, it's actually one of the best Beatles albums they've ever released. Really, really is. A punk album. Okay, I've chosen a German record for that. You will not have heard it if you're not German, and even if you're German, this is Pasco's Jade, or Pasco's Jade. It is obviously German music, but the Pasco is, in my opinion, the best existing German punk band. They've been the opening act for Die Ärzte, which is, I think, the biggest German punk band existing at this point. And I've seen them live at the Hurricane Festival in 2019, which was amazing. Really, really good band. And my favorite 2020 reissue, I had to think a little. There were two that I wanted to choose. One of them is this one here. I don't even know if it's made in 2020, but I've bought it in 2020, which is B.B. King's Live at the Regal, which sounds very good. I really enjoy that. But I've gone for a different route, and this is another one that isn't even sleeved. And that is Kind of Blue by Miles Davis on Stereo Fidelity. First of all, this is the best, or you could argue that this is the best jazz record ever released. What I really like, most young people coming into collecting vinyl like colored vinyls, just a thing, If you're younger and you see something shiny, you want it. And so there are a few reissues, including the cream one and this one, that have come out over the year that are in colored vinyl. This one is blue, for example, in a beautifully marbled color, actually. And it sounds amazing on Columbia, obviously. Don't know if you can see that, but it is a really, really pretty record. And in my opinion, Kind of Blue is an album that everyone should have listened to, and everybody should have in his collection. It's just really, really strong album, and obviously you've known that. Okay, I hope there have been one or two things that you haven't known already. Check out the channel, even if there isn't anything now, because this will be the first video on there. But you will see in the future tech guides on anything standing up there, which is the entire stereo system. You'll see partially the record collection. I started to try a video which is my entire record collection, which will take about 3 hours. Not kidding. And anything consisting of those about 200 records flying in this room. They are getting more. And yeah, anything audio related. If you want to see something covered, leave it in the comments. All right. It has been a pleasure. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, see you the next time. Bye.